topic I wanted to talk about was listening versus taking advice. Um, I think that there's definitely a fine line between the two. Um, I think in most cases when you're talking about um, talking to people, we're always demanding that people listen and listen to what we're saying. But what I've come to realize is the reality of it is we all have to listen because we have two ears. If you have two ears, you have to listen to what somebody's saying. You can just act like you're not listening or try to ignore them or whatever, but we're all listening. We all have two ears. So the reality is that we all listen. Now, um, we can hear, our perspective on what we hear and listen to may be different, but we're all listening to the same thing, and we can have our different kind of perspective on what we listen to. So, I do believe that listening is a skill. It's something that you can get better at in terms of your ability to like really, you know, train your ears and your body to be able to listen to the just the smallest of sounds and vibrations that maybe certain people generally the general ear might not hear or listen to. Um, so there is to me an ability to listen and be able to um, hear things that the like I said, just I'm not a trained ear of listening may listen to, particularly especially when like if it, as it pertains to like music or something. Um, but get into the other side, the other side of what I was talking about in terms of taking advice. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother different thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I can, two people can listen to the same thing, and one person may take the advice of what was listened to, but the other may not take the advice of what they listened to. Now, like I said, the reality is that they both listened, but the advice in which they took was different. So it's really important to understand that I can listen to you, listen to what you're saying, and then not take your advice or take your advice. You understand? And so that's a whole separate thing from listening. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother skill set because I have to distinguish. That's more so of mentally distinguishing whether or not what I've internalized or consumed is good for me or not. You understand? So that's taking advice. You know what I'm saying? And the decision you make is whether you want to take action in what you listen to. That's taking advice. Um, but if you don't take action in the advice that was given, that's not taking advice. But nonetheless, you listen. You know what I'm saying? And so um, that's just something for me. I think that should definitely be should, should be clarified, and people uh, need to not just put an emphasis on just listening, but also listening and taking advice. Or not just taking advice, the advice you take, because sometimes the advice that may be given may not be beneficial. Sometimes it can be, but you have to be the person to decide, you know, on that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the next step to listening, taking advice. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a step-by-step process. You know what I'm saying? The way I look at it.